What's happening, team? It's Brennan with GPI. Just wanted to let you guys know what's going on in our greenhouse. So if you guys didn't know, this greenhouse is located at Darrington School. It's a really great resource for students to come out here, plant some seeds, study biology, study healthy eating habits during school. And we've been maintaining it for you guys since we've left, and wanted to highlight a couple projects that students started before school's closed. So here we've got some 4th grade students who were working on a hydroponics system. So what that word means, if you guys don't know, hydroponics, you break it down, you've got hydro, you've got ponics. The Greek roots mean water and work. So it's a water working system, and I'll explain why. So down here, there is a bunch of water located underneath this reservoir. And you can always check the water level with this little tube. Right now it's all the way full, so it might be a little tricky to tell exactly how high, but it's right about there. And several times throughout the day, a pump that is plugged in will pull the water up to these pots right underneath that line, and will let it drain out slowly. And that process will repeat a couple times throughout the day. And this system of planting is really cool because it controls the amount of water that you use, and also conserves a lot of that water that you use. So instead of planting plants in the ground and watering it, a lot of that water actually gets lost in the soil, and only the plants take a little bit. And so here, whatever water the plants don't take just goes back down into the system, and then later that day will be brought up. And so it's a really great way for different people to conserve the water that they use. And so in places that might be a lot hotter or drier than the Pacific Northwest, this is a really useful tool for planting and agriculture all across the world. And another great benefit of this is that it keeps it up off the ground. So instead of having some bugs come and eat your lettuce or your crops before you're ready to eat them yourself, this can separate that and maybe reduce that risk a little bit, and also reduces the risk of some diseases that would come from soil. And so hydroponics is a really great way to plant seeds without that soil, and I'll show you how we did it here. We've got some clay pellets, which we've used for the structure of our pots. But the plants themselves, the seeds, were originally planted in what is called rock wool. It's a spongy material, really great at absorbing water and maintaining moisture. And that is the only thing that the plant is located in, but most of the roots, once these grow a little bit more, will be exposed, and we'll be able to grab that water and then hold it for throughout the day. And so over here, what the 4th graders decided to do is also plant the same seed, these are both lettuce. These were planted in some soil to compare the difference between the growth of lettuce that was planted in dirt and lettuce that was planted using this hydroponic system. So just wanted to show you guys that really cool experiment that the 4th graders decided to do this year, and we'll keep you updated on the progress. We've also got some plants over here that some other classes have been doing. We've got some zinnia flowers that the preschool and 1st graders are doing. We've got some alyssums and also some marigolds. And just so you guys can see what those will look like when they're fully grown, we've got the zinnias, marigolds, and alyssums. Over here, we've also been planting some tomatoes and basil and other vegetables that'll eventually fill up some of the vegetable beds we have outdoors. And then over here, we've got some of our cuttings that we've done, which we'll actually do a whole separate video about what a cutting is. But basically, it's a way to take some bits of a plant that already exist and replant them and to allow them to grow more. But we'll get into that later. And one other class to highlight out here. Our 2nd and 3rd graders have been planting some tulips. And the reason why they're outside right now is because they actually were so successful that they were growing way too fast for their own good. And so we put them outside to slow them down a little bit because it's a little colder, and that way they're on our schedule. But as you guys can see, we are very lucky to have access to this resource. You can see White Horse Mountain in the back here in Darrington. I hope you guys are finding ways to get outside during this time, still respecting social distancing, but the outdoors is really great for replenishing our soul and really good for our mental stability. So I hope you guys have a great week, and we'll talk to you soon.